Remember this video I did a while back? Well, ever since, it's got me thinking, are there any other dreams that I've had that are interesting to talk about? Short answer is yes. There are mostly scary dreams for some reason. I have no idea. For any potential doctors that are watching this, is there anything I should be aware of? Anyways, for today's video, I'm going to be turning some of the dreams that I have had into illustrations. So let's get started. Also, I'm going to be trying a different format for this video, so please let me know what you guys think. So, this first dream that I'm going to talk about happened 4 to 5 years ago, and it was the inspiration behind a poem that I submitted for a contest. I wish I had that poem, but that poem is on a school Chromebook, which is dead, but anyways. So in the dream, I awoke to find that I was standing over a huge body of water, like a huge lake, with a little bit of mist that was just above the water. I looked all around me and there was nothing but water, and no land in sight. Another thing that I noticed was what I was wearing. I was wearing a long white dress. It was very flowy, it had no sleeves, and it left a trail behind me when I walked, almost like a wedding dress. I wasn't standing on any land either, and I had no shoes on. I was literally standing on the water. No land or grass touched my feet. I decided to walk forward, and sure enough, I was walking on water. I looked ahead of me and I saw these huge mountains in the distance. 2 large mountains with snow on top was what I remembered. The only thing that I could think of was to walk towards the mountains, so I did. I took a couple steps towards the mountains and then I heard a voice. It was a high-pitched voice. They sang a song to me. Their voice was very beautiful, powerful, strong. So strong that I thought I heard desperation behind it. Their singing shook the mountains, made large ripples in the water, and a gust of wind came my way. It sounded like they were coming from the other side. I remember standing there, perplexed and stunned on what to do next. Not just because of this gust of wind that almost knocked me off balance, but because this song, this person sang, had me stunned, like a pirate being mesmerized by a siren. Seeing that the mountains were such a distance away, I decided to sing the same notes back to her, hoping to get an answer back, and hopefully an answer on who this person was. I stood there for a few seconds, waiting for them to respond, and then they did. They sang their song again, but it was even stronger. The snow fell down the mountains, the water shook and made waves, and a gust of wind came my way, even more powerful than the last. I stared in the distance in awe. About 5 seconds before the gust of wind came my way, I covered my face to protect myself. The wind flowed through my dress, flowed and tangled my hair, but that voice echoed within my ears. It was so loud it felt like I could never escape it, like it was coming from everywhere. I opened my eyes, but everything was gone. I had woken up. It was late at night. I was walking with someone at the beach, and we were a few feet away from the water. I don't remember who this person was. Their face was obscure, and I didn't know what they were talking about, but it felt like I was very acquainted with this person. I remember seeing light on the sand. It was coming from the buildings that were still open, and I remember feeling the cold sand on my feet. We were walking on the beach for a little bit, and that's when I heard it. I heard that voice again. The same voice from the mountains. It was coming from the water. Before I could even think, I ran into the water, taking bigger steps the deeper I went in, with the waves fighting back against me. I remember hearing someone tell me not to go. It must have been the person I was walking with, or the inner thoughts of my mind. For some reason, I couldn't stop. I couldn't even look back. I could sense in that moment that something was different, that the voice was going away. The only thing that I could think of was to sing back to them. My voice was strained, loud, desperate to find answers. Why me? What's the reason behind all this? Who are you? Why are you doing this? Do you need help? What do you want? What can I do? I stood in the water just below my chest, waiting for an answer, or something. I'm surprised I felt no fear at this point. At that moment, a large wave came rushing towards me. All that I could think of was to shield myself from the waves, but right before it could hit me, I woke up. I've never heard that voice since, but it still remains fresh in my mind. So this second dream also took place on a beach, and this dream occurred about 3 to 4 years ago. So when I was in 11th and 12th grade, I was walking on a beach. It looked like we were on this island. The water was a crystal clear blue, the sun was setting, the waves were splashing on the shore, and I felt warm, happy, like I was at peace. I remember I was talking to a guy. I had no idea who this guy was. The only thing that I could remember was that he was tall, and he wore a floral shirt. Again, I had no idea who this person was and why we were on a beach, but the only thing I knew was that I must have knew this person well. We were talking for a bit about something, I honestly can't remember, but all of a sudden, he hugged me. We stood there unmoving for a few seconds. I was confused. "What's wrong?" I asked. He said that everything was fine, but then he said that he wanted to gift me something. "Okay," I said. He stepped back, placed something in my hands, and closed them. It was small. It felt like a shell. I opened my hand, and sure enough, it was a shell, a tiny conch shell. I wanted to find out who this guy was, and why were we walking on a beach? Why is he giving me the shell? Why did he hug me? Right before I could look up to see who he was, I woke up. People say that dreams are ways that people can process information that's already gathered. And of course I believe that. But you can imagine the shock on my face when I looked on my nightstand and found the exact same shell that I was gifted. So before I move on to this next dream that I've experienced, this dream that I'm going to talk about, it is going to contain some scary situations, so please advise before proceeding. So this third dream happened many years ago. I'm pretty sure that this happened during my late teens. So when I opened my eyes, I was already running. I was running down a dark neighborhood. The streetlights were shining down a bright orange. I hated every second of this dream. I think a part of me knew that I was dreaming, but I literally couldn't stop it. I couldn't even stop running. I didn't know what I was running to or who I was running from. All I knew is that these next events happened so quickly. As I was running, I noticed that someone was standing in the middle of the road, right in my direction. I couldn't stop running. As I kept on running towards them, I noticed a few things that started to become even more disturbing the closer I got. For once, they were extremely tall. They either wore all black or they were completely surrounded in darkness, and they stood there, unmoving. I kept on running towards him, or them. I couldn't even stop. I was scared, terrified. I had no control over my own body. As I was about to run straight through them, this person or thing grabbed me by my shoulders and screamed in my face. It was a sound that you wouldn't expect to come out of a person. It was loud, strained, raw. And then everything went black. The next thing I knew, I was lying down on the floor of a small room. It looked like I was in a small apartment. There was junk scattered all over the floor, it was dark, and the only light there was the light coming from the TV. The TV fell down on its right side. A movie was playing, but there was bad signal which caused the TV to flicker and go in and out. I analyzed the room for a bit. I saw a mattress on the floor, there were 2 sliding doors behind me, and there were curtains over the windows. I felt so helpless, scared, and terrified on the thought of what I was doing here. I didn't even have the strength to stand. How did I get here? Immediately, the memories of what happened with that stranger flowed through my mind, and that's when I heard it. I felt my body tense up. I turned and I saw the door to the place slowly open. I backed into one of the corners of this small room in fear, hoping that they wouldn't be able to see me, even though a part of me knew that wasn't true. I felt watched, preyed upon. I felt that who or whatever was in that darkness knew of my fear and they were using that against me. The silence was very loud. I shut my eyes, put my hands in front of myself to shield my face, and waited. I heard a slight chuckle coming from the door. I still kept my hands in front of myself, and I shut my eyes, and then right in that moment, I woke up. Alright, so those were some of the few interesting dreams that I have had in my past. It's just a few out of many that I could think of that really stood out to me. I do have a few more that I can talk about in the next part. Thank you guys so much for staying until the end. By the way, I really do appreciate it. This was a different video format that I've been wanting to do for a long time. I really do enjoy writing. So if there's anyone who liked it, and if you would like to see more, feel free to let me know in the comments. And of course, feel free to like and subscribe to see more. Thank you guys so much for watching and staying until the end. I do apologize that it has been a while. I was going through a lot at my current full-time job. I was very busy. I would come home tired, and basically around that time I was going through a bunch of art block. I was trying so hard to stay motivated, and then around the time where I was starting to get back into the flow of things, I got sick. I had a sinus infection that really messed up 2 of my work days, especially on a Friday. I got quite sick, and I'm still a little bit sick now, but it's a lot more manageable. Hi y'all, I hope y'all are doing well. I just want to let you know, I am a liar. So coincidentally, after recording that little 12-13 minute session that I did, literally 2 days after, I got sick, and I was literally bedridden for 5 freaking days. I couldn't work for literally any of those 5 days. So, I apologize for the delay. Thank you for your time and for your patience with me. I am still kind of slightly sick, but I just wanted to keep y'all up to date. But well, that's about it. Alright, let's roll back to past Nikki. Okay. Thank you guys so much for watching and staying until the end. Like and subscribe to see more. And as always, stay hydrated, stay safe, and of course, stay tuned, you guys. Bye!